Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to Professor David Pollard, who joins us from Stanford, California. And welcome to you all to the 2021 Geological Society of London Award Ceremony. I'm Richard Hughes, and I'm the Society's Executive Secretary. For the second consecutive year, our event is entirely virtual due, of course, to the pandemic. It normally takes place in person in London in late June when the city looks at its very best. So let's hope that in 2022 we'll be able to hold the event in person, or better still in hybrid formats, making it even more inclusive and accessible to people from around the world. The Society has been presenting awards for scientific excellence since 1831, a mere 190 years ago. The first recipient of the Wollaston Medal in 1831 was none other than William Smith, one of the early greats of our science. But this afternoon, of course, is about recognizing those making exceptional contributions to our field today, whether through outstanding contributions to science, to communication, or to service to the profession, and at all stages of careers. There are many awards to present this afternoon, and so without further ado, at this point, I'll hand you over to the Society's President, Mike Daly.
Good afternoon, everybody, and good morning, David. I'd like to begin this afternoon's award presentation straight away and get on with it. We've got quite a lot to get through, 18 awards over the next hour and a half. So we'll start with the President's Awards. These are awarded to two individuals who show significant early career promise and earth science leadership potential. I'm delighted to award the President's Awards for 2021 to Dr. Jasmine Scarlett and Dr. Finnegan Isley Kemp. Dr. Jasmine Scarlett is an outstanding early career volcanologist and a role model for her generation of earth scientists. Her research applies interdisciplinary, innovative science to problems in volcanology, combining historical and social sciences with forensic geology. After a master's in volcanology and geological hazards at Lancaster University, she gained a PhD at Hull, focusing on the currently erupting Soufriere volcano of St. Vincent. Great timing, Scarlett, or Jasmine, sorry, and its impacts on the island's people. She has enjoyed fellowships at Aarhus University in Denmark and Newcastle University. She is also a natural leader in outreach, inclusion and accessibility initiatives, and has already made an impact on our science through being an advocate for underrepresented minorities entering the earth sciences. Dr. Scarlett, I am pleased to award you the Geological Society's President Award. Over to you.
Thank you. When I received the email, I was definitely very surprised and very honored with this, because when you're in your research, you sometimes don't actually think that you're making an impact. I just thought I was just doing science. So to be recognized for this, it definitely felt like I am doing the right thing in the research I'm doing. And even though my research is on hold at the moment, I would very much like to continue to keep doing this kind of research and to keep helping the people that need it, and to inspire the next generation of earth scientists, because as we know, earth sciences are going to be very important in addressing future climate issues, but also just earth system issues in general. So I will continue to do my best to represent the discipline and to do good. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Jasmine. In addition, I'm delighted to present the President's Award for 2021 to Dr. Finnegan Isley Kemp. Dr. Finnegan is a well-published and highly accomplished geophysicist whose skills in research, training and outreach mark him out to be a leading scientist in the years to come. After undergraduate studies at Imperial College, he completed a PhD in geophysics at the University of Southampton, where he studied the Afar Rift of East Africa, attempting to understand the cryptic processes of continental breakup. His research was recognized with an AGU Outstanding Student Paper Award in Tectonophysics. Since June 2018, Finnegan has been a postdoctoral fellow in volcano dynamics at the Victoria University of Wellington. involved with the GeoNet monitoring team, monitoring seismic activity in the Taupo region. My congratulations to Finnegan, who's a worthy award winner. He's based in Wellington, New Zealand, and has sent us a recorded message, which hopefully we can get up.
Kia ora, and thank you. I'm honoured to receive this award from the Society. I have so many people to thank. I've been so lucky to have many inspiring and supportive supervisors and mentors through my research career, beginning with my master's supervisor, Ian Bastow, and then my PhD supervisors, Derek Keir, John Ball, and Tom Gernon. All of them have endless enthusiasm and passion for research, and most importantly for supervising students, something which I've definitely inherited. I'd also like to thank Martha Savage and Colin Wilson for giving me the fantastic opportunity to come and research here in New Zealand. And finally, I'd like to thank my family and partner for supporting me throughout, even when it means being on the other side of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Finnegan. Those are great words. Tremendous. Okay, moving on. The next awards are the William Smith, Murchison, Lyle and Wollaston Funds. The William Smith Fund is awarded for excellence in contributions to applied and economic aspects of geoscience, and it gives me great pleasure to present the 2021 fund to Dr. Fabian Wadsworth of the University of Durham. Dr. Wadsworth's research spans volcanology and physics and has already made a significant impact on geoscience in the UK and internationally. Since the start of his career in 2013, he has produced 72 published research papers, a big start by any standards. From his first field description of magmatic dike emplacement in the Tongariro volcanic complex again, to his comprehensive treatment of the physics of magmatic processes and the permeability of magmas, he is clearly a developing leader in volcanology. Currently an associate professor at Durham University, he is co-founder and editor of Volcania, the Diamond open access journal in volcanology, and has developed a popular volcanology teaching experiment called Trash Canaan, used in labs across the UK. Sounds really interesting, Fabian. So Fabian Wadsworth, I am pleased to award you the William Smith Fund. Over to you, Fabian.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled for this honour. I'm especially honoured to receive this from the Geological Society, a foundation stone of our discipline. It's humbling to receive this award alongside the other awardees today, researchers whom I respect deeply and many of whom are inspirations to me, so bravo to everyone. It's doubly humbling as I reflect on William Smith and look down the list of former William Smith Fund recipients who make for mighty company to be, among whom to be counted. I suppose I'm receiving this award on the backs of a great many collaborators and mentors to whom I owe an immeasurable debt. It's hard to receive a personal award, of course, for work that's so inextricably linked with the magnificent talents of others. So my thanks to all of those people. And I'd like to acknowledge my debt to the volcanological community as a whole. I take great joy from being a member of such a supportive and uplifting group of people. So thank you, President, and to the Society for this honour. Thank you.
Well said, Fabian. Thank you. Thank you very much. Moving on, I'm pleased to present the Murchison Fund 2021. This is awarded for noteworthy published research in hard rock geology, and it's been awarded to Dr. Andrew R. Thompson. Dr. Thompson is making groundbreaking contributions to our understanding of the deep earth. Following a PhD in experimental petrology at the University of Bristol, he was awarded a NERC Independent Research Fellowship at University College London. His approach, linking observations from natural samples with experiment, bridges geology, petrology, geochemistry, and mineral physics to address questions about the Earth's interior. In particular, his work on diamond formation and its implication for carbon fluxes in the deep Earth system has been influential. He has published experiments on the physical properties of calcium perovskites, which have led to a crucial reinterpretation of the composition of Earth's deep mantle. An innovative and determined scientist, Andrew has already built a strong international reputation and has been invited to participate with the organisations such as the Deep Carbon Observatory. Dr. Andrew Thompson, I'm pleased to award you the Murchison Fund. Over to you, Andrew.
Mr. President, and also to the members of the Awards Committee, the Council, and those that nominated me, which was quite the surprise, for the Murchison Fund. Thank you very much to all of you. I'm extremely honoured by the nomination, and I'm absolutely delighted to accept it. When I went to university, I originally thought I was going to study chemistry, and I hate to admit now that I really didn't know what geology even was as a subject. It was at a freshers event the night before lecture started when I was somehow convinced to fill my empty subject slot for first year with geology, and I've never looked back. Since then, I've been consistently surprised and inspired by the subject and the plethora of wonderful people that I've worked alongside. I do not have time to thank them all now, but there are a few individuals that I would like to particularly mention. Firstly, I would like to mention Professor Marie Edmonds, who is also an awardee today. She guided me through countless supervisions and many days of field mapping during my undergraduate degree. And without her help, I'm sure I would never have become so enthusiastic about the subject. I would also like to mention my PhD supervisors, Professor Mike Walter and Simon Cohn, who also provided nothing but opportunity and encouragement for me to do and try everything that I wanted to in the labs at Bristol. And I would then finally like to thank my current colleagues at UCL for providing endless support, encouragement and mentorship throughout the last 6 years. Mr. President, thank you once again for this deep honour.
Thank you for those great words, Andrew. I'm now delighted to present the Lyell Fund 2021, awarded for noteworthy published research in soft rock studies to Dr. Luke Parry from the University of Oxford. Dr. Parry is an outstanding researcher who has made important contributions to the field of paleontology, in particular on why fossils cannot be ignored by evolutionary biologists when constructing the tree of life. His research into early animal evolution has improved our understanding of the nature of the Cambrian explosion and the anatomy of long extinct stem groups. While still researching his PhD, he secured postdoctoral fellowships at the Royal Ontario Museum, followed by a 2-year fellowship at Yale University. His publications include contributions in Nature, Proceedings of the Royal Society B, Biology Letters, and Nature Ecology and Evolution. And he has also authored 2 book chapters. Currently a research and teaching fellow at the University of Oxford, Earth Sciences Department, he is foremost among young leaders in developing the prospective synthesis of disciplines between earth sciences, biological science, and chemistry. Dr. Luke Parry, I'm pleased to award you the Lyell Fund. Over to you, Luke.
Hi, thank you so much. So to start with, I'd like to say a huge thanks to the Geological Society for giving me this award, and it really is a great honor to see my name added to such a fantastic list of historical and recent recipients. So I have a huge list of people to thank, and I thought I'd sort of start in chronological order. So I owe my sort of success as a paleontologist and my enthusiasm for the discipline to principally to Martin Brazier and Matt Friedman at the University of Oxford, who were essentially nurturing my interest in paleo when I was an undergraduate and master's student. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to my PhD supervisors, Jakob Winter and Greg Edgecombe, for all of their support during my PhD and for all of their help and encouragement since then and sort of beyond as well. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to everybody who's mentored me since completing my PhD while I've been a postdoctoral scientist, in particular Derek Briggs and Roger Benson, currently at the University of Oxford. So I'd also like to say a big thanks to everybody who I've had the pleasure of collaborating with over the years. So everybody who's really made doing research so rewarding and so worthwhile. And sort of to wrap up, finally, I'd like to say a big thank you to my family, particularly for never questioning why I embarked on this endeavor to study mostly extinct worms from the perspective of the fossil record. So thank you so much. It's a great honor.
Thank you, Luke. You sounds like a very special family. We are pleased next to move on to the Wollaston Fund, awarded for noteworthy published research in either or both pure and applied aspects of geological sciences. Been awarded to Dr. Emma Liu of University College London. Since the award of her PhD in 2016, Dr. Emma Liu has emerged as an accomplished and highly regarded volcanologist and petrologist on the international stage, recognized for her contributions to our understanding of eruption dynamics and the development of novel volcano monitoring tools. She's a lecturer in Earth Sciences at University College London and is rapidly gaining an international reputation for her careful research and leadership, which is reflected in frequent keynote talk invitations at international meetings. 2018 and 2020, she led the Above project, which brought together international groups to advance the use of drones in volcanology and involve field campaigns in Papua New Guinea. She's currently funded by the Royal Society to develop miniaturized drone-deployed sensors to be used in large numbers in and around volcanoes, and feels like she's on the trajectory to a really great research career. Dr. Emmylou, I'm pleased and delighted to award you the Wollaston Fund. Over to you.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute honour to be receiving this award and to be amongst such inspiring company. I'm immensely grateful to those who nominated me for this award. It certainly came as quite a surprise. And also I'd like to thank my mentors who have guided and navigated me through the rather turbulent world of early career research over the years. There are too many for me to thank, but there are a couple of names who I would like to highlight in particular, because this is a great opportunity to thank them. Kathy Cashman, Alison Rust, Marie Edmonds, Tom Richardson, Tamsin Mather, and Sandra Iokpa. So as many of you who know me probably know, I enjoy my research hugely, and I've been very fortunate. It has taken me to many corners of the world, to some of the most remote environments on Earth, and to meet and interact with local communities who live and work with volcanic hazards. I strongly believe that the most exciting research, however, comes from the collaborations that you make. And none of the achievements that you so very kindly described a moment ago would have been possible without my colleagues and friends who have worked with me on these projects and made them such a success. So thank you to all of you. This is for everyone.
Well, thank you, Emma, for those great words. We now move to the mid-career awards part of the session. And the next one is established by the English Chain of Clays Limited, or International Limited, and its chair, 3rd Baron Abercrombie. The Abercrombie Medal is awarded biennially to persons with up to 25 years full-time equivalent experience to recognise distinction in the practice of applied geoscience and work in industry. It gives me great pleasure to award this to Dr. Caroline Gill, who will take the Abercrombie Medal for 2021. Dr. Gill is a highly respected production geologist and leader with reach across industry and academia. Currently focused on maximising the recovery of the North Sea oil and gas resources, she is Shell's subsurface leader on the Arran field, part of the Shearwater complex. She has also worked on the large and old Clare field, where her technical and strategic contribution was recognised. She currently holds a production geology technical authority role in Shell, assuring that she works across many different businesses as an authority in her field. She is also recognised for promoting geoscience as a career and mentoring early career geoscientists, emphasising their role and responsibilities as custodians of our energy resources. She has organised 2 petroleum geoscience showcase events, highlighting the work of postgraduate and postdoctoral researchers. An inspiring ambassador for inclusivity and diversity, she was the recipient of the prestigious Professional Woman of the Future Award in 2012, and she is the current chair of the Geological Society's Energy Group. Caroline Gill, I'm delighted to award you the Abercrombie Medal. Over to you, Carol.
President, fellows, ladies and gentlemen, I'm immensely honoured and humbled to accept the Abercrombie Medal in recognition of my contribution to applied and economic geoscience. It was a wonderful surprise and caused me to reflect, as I often do, on what a privilege it is to do something I enjoy so much for a living. I've lived my life by the mantra, take every opportunity, and my introduction to geoscience as a Part 1A natural science student and subsequently to the energy industry as an MSci student were 2 of those opportunities, which I can now reflect back on with wonderful memories. The Geological Society of London has provided many opportunities, from a forum in which to present my work as a petrified undergraduate student, to welcoming me to committee meetings whilst on maternity leave with a tiny baby in tow. I'd like to take this opportunity as I speak to you all to appeal for you to be constantly looking for opportunities, not just for yourself, but those that you can also share with others. I am particularly proud of our President's words with respect to promoting geoscience as a career and coaching and mentoring early career geoscientists. When you're as enthusiastic about rocks as I am, it's not hard to share that enthusiasm with others, be they school children, university students or colleagues. I hugely enjoy sharing geoscience, and my experience of working in the area with others, be it in the classroom, the boardroom or on a mountaintop, are all positive, fun memories. Whilst I'm a proud badge carrying rock lover, geoscience would be nothing without the wonderful people that I've learned from, coached, worked with, mapped faults with and drunk gin with. A massive thank you to my nominees who know me so well, and for those who've contributed to the recognition I'm receiving today. You all know who you are and the contribution you continue to make, and I thank you for it. Thanks, Mike.
Caroline, thank you, and good luck with Aaron. The Bigsby Medal is the next, founded by John Jeremiah Bigsby, is an acknowledgement of eminent services in any department of geology. I'm delighted to award the 2021 Bigsby Medal to Professor Marie Edmonds of Cambridge. Professor Edmonds has significantly advanced our understanding of volcanic systems and is a widely recognised leader in volcanology and deep carbon. Currently chairing volcanology and petrology at the University of Cambridge, she is a leading expert on the cycling of volatiles between the atmosphere and the mantle, and the role they play in melting, magmagenesis, storage, transport, eruption and climate modulation. After a PhD at Cambridge on the Soufriere Hills volcano, this time of Montserrat, she undertook a USGS Mendenhall Fellowship at the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, where she evaluated the degassing history of basaltic melts. By 2011, she was recognised as a world leader in magmatic volatiles, which led her to engage with the Deep Carbon Observatory on magmatic contributions to the carbon cycle. A communicator and geoscience advocate, she has served her community in the UK and internationally, undertaking leadership roles, including Secretary of Science for the Geological Society, Petrology Secretary of the AGU, and a position in the Deep Carbon Observatory's Executive Committee. Her numerous awards include the Wager Medal from the International Association of Volcanology and Chemistry of the Earth's Interior. Professor Marie Edmonds, my congratulations on this award of the Bigsby Medal. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am truly honoured to receive the Bigsby Medal from the Geological Society, and I must say I'm relieved to know that, to quote from the award description, I'm not too old for further work and not too young to have done much. So the earth sciences have never been more relevant to society, of course. We face enormous challenges in climate, in energy, hazards, resources. And the study of earth sciences, that enormous, bewildering and fascinating field that interfaces with so many different disciplines, is really central to tackling these challenges. So I count myself extremely fortunate to be part of this enterprise, and I'm very grateful to the many outstanding colleagues who've mentored and inspired me along the way, including, just to mention a few, David Pyle, Clive Oppenheimer, Steve Sparks, Bruce Houghton, Jan Lavelli, Kathy Cashman, Mike Poland, Cindy Lee, Don Dingwell and Bob Hazen. Each of these in their own ways opened my eyes to new fields, new techniques, and importantly, new ways to interact respectfully and productively with others. And I'd like to thank my nominators, my colleagues, both at Cambridge and further afield, my PhD students, of course, and last but not least, my family, who provide steadfast support always. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie. At this point, one reflects how wonderful this event is. It's being the president of the Geological Society is interesting. The whole process of the awards is actually something that from people who nominate through to the awards committee to the actual making of the awards, and then this event is a great event, and it's just really good to see people receiving the awards in the way it's going. So the next award winners are receiving their awards for service to geology and or their outreach work. So the Distinguished Service Award was established in 1998 to give recognition to individuals who make significant contributions to geoscience and the geoscience community through their professional, administrative, organizational or promotional activities. I'm very pleased to present the 2021 Distinguished Service Award to Dr. Sheila Peacock. Dr. Sheila Peacock's contribution to the field and community of UK geophysics spans more than 3 decades. She's been the driving force behind the British Geophysical Association and acted in multiple trustee roles within learned societies, devoting her time selflessly to the UK geophysics community. Her academic career began with a PhD at the University of Edinburgh, researching seismic anisotropy and shear wave splitting. After leaving academia in 2005 to join the AWE Black Nest as a senior seismologist, she remained a strong supporter of the academic community, devoting her time to the promotion of geophysics and the cultivation of the next generation of students championing outreach and inclusivity efforts. As the British Geophysical Association, she has worked tirelessly for more than 2 decades in multiple trustee roles on the councils of both the Geological Society and the Royal Astronomical Society, and their subcommittees, sorry. In one of her the comments, she was described as the glue that holds the UK physics community together. So Sheila Peacock, I am delighted to award you the Distinguished Service Award. Over to you, Sheila.
Mr. President, Council members and fellows, thank you very much for bestowing this award on me. I'm absolutely overawed to have received any kind of award. And I want to thank also the British Geophysical Association Committee and the councils of the Royal Astronomical Society and the Geological Society with whom I served, and also my nominators, whoever you are. I've been awards officer of the British Geophysical Association, and I appreciate the effort required to draw up a nomination. My first reaction was to turn the award down on the grounds that I'd done nothing to mitigate the coronavirus disaster that has overtaken our subject area, and particularly our universities, schools and places of work. It was only when Mike Daly told me that the nominations deadline was so early that no one could have been nominated for coronavirus service that I agreed to accept it. And I urge all of you who are listening to nominate for next year's service award one of the heroes of the pandemic, people who have developed and shared incredible online resources, found ways to do fieldwork, meetings and teaching safely and productively, and written and rewritten risk assessments, and just kept their end up when things are low. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Sheila, and thank you for your humility and contribution. The next is established in 1955, the R.H. Worth Award, conferred in recognition of achievements in outreach, public engagement and/or education carried out by an individual or an institution. I'm pleased to present the award in 2021 to Anya Katwa from the Wessex Museum. Dr. Katwa is a passionate advocate of the geosciences with a focus on diverse and underserved audiences. She describes herself as a time traveller, drawing clues to the past from rocks and landscapes of the present. After doctoral studies at the University of Southampton and research positions in the UK and the USA, she spent 15 years developing a strategic learning programme for the Jurassic Coast, creating award-winning resources and training teachers around the world, from St. Lucia in the Caribbean to Taiwan. During the London Olympic Games, she created the Big Jurassic Classroom, linking the Olympic values to those of the Jurassic Coast World Heritage Site. The legacy of this is a national programme today that delivers earth sciences to primary schools across the UK. A talented and engaging science communicator, she has appeared as an expert and presenter in major TV series such as the BBC Beach Live, BBC Fossil Detectives, and the Discovery Channel's How the Earth Was Made. Her innovation and creativity in interpreting earth sciences, particularly for underserved communities, is unique and displays an extraordinary passion for making the earth sciences accessible and available to all. Dr. Katwa, my congratulations on the well-deserved R.H. Worth Award. Over to you.
Thank you so much, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Geological Society of London for this award. I'd like to thank those who nominated me and have supported me throughout my career. It really is a huge honour to receive this. And when I opened that scroll, I can't tell you the weight of history that I felt in that thin piece of paper. To be with Jasmine Scala, you know, due to some research done by Dr. Sam Giles, one of the first women of colour to receive an award from such an esteemed institution, I was really quite taken aback. And of course, there have been lots of people in my career that I should thank, notably Richard Edmonds, who I worked with at the Jurassic Coast team, Tim Badman there as well, Professor Dennis Brunsden. I stand on the shoulders of these giants that showed me the magic of storytelling. But I also learned so many skills and ways to think differently about geology from artists. And here I call upon Lorna Rees and Daryl Wakelam, who were instrumental in shifting the way I looked at the natural world. My friends, my family, the organisations that have platformed and championed me, like Mary Anning Rocks, they are all part of this success story. And I like to thank everybody that played a part in that journey. Thank you so much.
Super. Thank you very much. Next come the 2 Koch medals. These are made to geoscientists for their contributions to science, as well as significant service to geoscience, for example, through administrative, organizational, promotional activities, resulting in benefits to the community at large. It gives me great delight to present the Koch medals 2021 to Professor Christopher Jackson and Dr. Helen Rees. Professor Jackson of the University of Manchester is an internationally recognized expert in basin analysis, sedimentology and structure. He draws on seismic data, particularly 3D seismic data, for his insights. Currently, he's in the Chair of Sustainable Geoscience at Manchester. He has an impressive publication record, and his research has won him numerous awards, including the Geological Society of America's Thompson Distinguished Lecturer Award, and this society's Bigsby Award, Bigsby Medal. A dedicated and skilled communicator, in 2017 he appeared on BBC Two's Expedition Volcano, and in 2019 he delivered the opening talk of the Royal Institution's Christmas lecture series, Planet Earth, a User's Guide. He is a passionate advocate for equality, diversity and inclusion within the geosciences, both in the UK and globally. He has leveraged his increasing media presence to advocate for change, engaging directly with schools and young people, co-authoring best practice guides and calling for direct change from institutions. His contribution to the community make him a role model, not just within earth science, but more broadly across science and the UK. Christopher Jackson, I'm delighted to award you a Koch medal. My best congratulations. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I would like to begin by warmly thanking the Geological Society for awarding me one of this year's Koch medals, and it's really rather fetching, as you can see here. And I would next like to remind everyone that although awards are given to individuals, they really recognise the labours of many, as highlighted by Fabian earlier on. And close to home, this is my family, my wife Vicky, my children Olive, Hazel and Nora, and my mum, on whose patience and support I so keenly depend. And at work, my second family, which includes the many talented students and colleagues I've been lucky enough to work with over the years. So turning now to the Koch medal itself, as you just heard, is awarded for, and I paraphrase, contributions to science resulting in benefits to the community. During my career, and in particular over the last year, it has become clear that because of discrimination, exploitation and conscious and unconscious bias, and despite being central to tackling many of the socio-environmental challenges facing us in the next few decades, geoscience remains one of the least diverse STEM disciplines, or for that matter, non-STEM disciplines. Numerous barriers remain that limit the participation and progress of women, racial and ethnic minorities, those with disabilities and those identifying as being part of the LGBTQ+ community, amongst many others. And so my efforts and those of my friends and colleagues have centred on a desire to make geoscience and society more equitable and more inclusive. But even those of us who are tireless ultimately tire, thus it is crucial that everyone, learned societies such as the GeolSoc included, work to increase diversity and inclusivity. Related to precisely this point, it is notable that all of the undoubtedly worthy recipients of this year's career achievements are men, or presenters men, whereas 3 women and 1 man, me, are the recipients of the Service and Outreach Awards. It is also notable, as Anjana commented, that 2 of us present as members of racial and ethnic minority groups. Thus, to stop ourselves from tiring, we must try and share the load. We must be prepared to make mistakes and run the risk of upsetting those who are accustomed to both power and privilege. And we must look very hard at the decisions we are making and to be aware of who is and who is not in the room when those decisions are made, be that room virtual or otherwise. In closing, I would like to restate my thanks to the Geological Society for awarding me one of the Coke Medals. Rightly or wrongly, this award affords me some privilege that I hope I continue to put to good use during the rest of my career. Thank you.
Super. Thanks, Chris, and thanks for the words. And they're well meant, well met by the society. The journey we're on. Dr. Helen Reeves, the second of the other Coke awardee. Dr. Helen Reeves is an internationally recognised and highly respected engineering geologist, specialising in geohazard characterisation and assessment with over 30 publications and industry commissioned reports. She has provided expert advice to both the UK and Scottish governments, as well as a number of international bodies. Following postgraduate studies at Durham University, she spent 18 years at the British Geological Survey, 12 of which were spent as Science Director for Engineering Geology and Infrastructure. As part of this role, she led the £3 million annual NERC BGS Engineering Geology Research Programme, investigating the processes and distribution of shallow geohazards in the UK, the geotechnical and geophysical properties of the UK landmass, and urban geoscience challenges in cities. In 2020, she took up a post as Senior Associate Director of Engineering Geology with the US consulting company Jacobs. She has served as an expert advisor with SAGE during the 2013-2014 catastrophic UK winter storms, as well as international crisis responses such as the 2010 Kollontar tailings dam disaster in Hungary. Much in demand as a speaker, she has delivered presentations and invited keynote talks to professional and industry bodies. She is the recipient of the 2015 Geological Society Engineering Group Award and the Yorkshire Geological Society's 2017 BISAT Award. Dr. Helen Reeves, I'm delighted to award you the Coke Medal. Congratulations. Over to you, Helen.
Mr. President, Council, Fellows, and my nominators of this award, I say thank you. I was profoundly pleased and very humbled by the nomination by my colleagues and peers. It was a lovely welcome surprise on Christmas Eve when I received it. I've been extremely fortunate throughout my career to have worked with, now and in the past and in my current position at Jacobs, a number of the most inspiring, innovative, creative geologists, engineering geologists, engineers, environmental scientists, and social scientists across industry, academia, and government organisations. And I thank all these people that have helped me to shape my career. These relationships have enabled me to work across professional boundaries and offering differing organisational remits to meet societal challenges. It's also led me to develop a strong passion for working and collaborating in multidisciplinary teams and interdisciplinary teams in engineering, science, and social science areas, meeting particularly challenges around natural hazards and also urban sustainability. And these experiences have very much given me an opportunity to understand the importance of communication and communication to a wide stakeholder, a wide set of stakeholders. These collaborations and interactions have very much led me to have a strong set of personal values around professionalism, respect, and most importantly, enthusiasm for geology and engineering geology. And this is really what's helped to shape my career. I'd just like to say there's a final very important thank you, particularly to my family, my mum and dad, but most importantly, my husband. Ian's been along this journey with me throughout my professional career and has helped shape my success and also kept me sane. So thank you for that. And again, thank you to the Geological Society in particular for this award. It's very, very welcome.
Thank you, Helen. So moving on now to the Career Achievement Awards. The next one up is the Dewey Medal. Established in 2018 by a donation from Professor John Dewey, it's awarded to a geologist who has made significant contributions to geology through sustained field mapping and/or field observation of rocks. Has a strong record of training, leading and encouraging others to practice and pursue advances in geology by this means. I'm pleased to present in 2021 the Dewey Medal to Prof. Kenneth McCaffrey from the University of Durham. Professor McCaffrey is a leading field-oriented structural geologist who's been at the forefront of innovations, applications and teaching of new technologies in earth modelling based on field data for more than 20 years. His PhD research at Queen's University, Belfast, focused on the granites of the Ox Mountains, work which led to his award of the Ramsay Medal for the Society from the Society's Tectonic Studies Group. He was later awarded the Murchison Fund for considerable and innovative contribution to granite emplacement studies. Appointed Professor of Structural Geology at Durham University in 2013, he is the founding director of the Terrestrial Laser Scanning Facility at Durham, a leading facility for high-resolution laser scanning and 3D visualization methods. His novel approach to fieldwork, includes many applications of digital mapping, has been widely communicated. He's a dedicated teacher, with many of his students going on to highly successful careers in both academia and industry. His current projects, which include work on the interaction of earthquake-prone faults and the characterization of fractures in basement rocks of sedimentary basins, exemplify the high-impact nature of his research. Prof. Ken McCaffrey, I'm pleased to award you the Dewey Medal. My congratulations. Over to you, Ken. Do we have Kenneth on?
Hello, yeah, can you see me? Yeah.
Yeah, we see you now.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, thank you. I'm very honored to accept the Dewey Medal from the Geological Society, named after Professor John Dewey, who was a great inspiration for me during my PhD. My experience of field work as an undergrad was that it could be very challenging, but very enjoyable, and gave a unique insight into the subsurface structure of the earth and its geological processes. So I've tried to maintain that in my field teaching to our undergraduates by emphasizing traditional field skills, but also bringing in new methods, digital methods such as GIS mapping, remote sensing, and virtual outcrop technology, things that are very much to the fore at the moment and were very useful during this pandemic, of course. I want to acknowledge my mentors and collaborators, without whom none of this would be possible. My PhD supervisor, Donnie Hutton, was very inspiring. The late Dave Johnson in Dublin, and John Grocott, who introduced me to the joys and complexity of fieldwork in Greenland. Gerald Roberts introduced me to the Apennines, where I learned about active tectonic systems and got to work with the late Patience Cowie and Laura Gregory. And it's been great pleasure working with Bob Holsworth and Richard Jones at Durham, and the many, many PhD students and postdocs that we've supervised together over the last few years. I've learned a lot from them all, and I'm very grateful. Finally, to my family, thanks for all the support, and especially during absences, which traditional fieldwork does entail. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ken. We share a lot of names in common of influences. Moving on, the Prestwich Medal. Established under the will of Sir Joseph Prestwich, it's awarded to persons who have done well for the advancement of the science of geology. I can think of no one better to present this award to in 2021 than Professor Sanjeev Gupta. Professor Gupta has gained an international reputation by applying his terrestrial field expertise to Mars. Currently, Professor of Earth Sciences at Imperial College London, his early research linked basin sedimentation and tectonics and led to a number of high-profile cross-disciplinary projects. These included work on the catastrophic late Quaternary megafloods that helped create Britain as an island, a conclusion with impact for fields as diverse as paleobotany, archaeology, anthropology, and glaciology. When asked to study early images from the European Space Agency, Mars Express spacecraft, he recognized features similar to the English Channel morphologies and began applying his expertise to the study of Martian sedimentary processes. Over the last decade, he has become the UK's leading Mars geologist and is now a member of several European and US Mars missions and a sought-after collaborator. In particular, his contributions to the NASA Curiosity rover mission have helped develop a new paradigm for Martian environmental history and habitability. A talented communicator, he recently led the creation of the Earth and Planetary Science degree at Imperial College, testament to the popularity and high profile of his work. He's also a keen supporter of the Society and the force behind an upcoming exhibition on spacescapes that we're holding in the Burlington House courtyard in August and September. Professor Gupta, my warmest congratulations on the award of the Prestwich Medal. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you, Mike. And I should call you Mr. President, actually. Thanks for your generous, if overstated words. I feel quite embarrassed to receive this award, as I think myself, I feel I'm very lucky in doing such a stimulating, exciting job. And what would one want more in a career than that? My interest in geology, and it was quite strange probably for an Indian child of immigrant parents to be interested in geology, came from accompanying my father, who was a biology teacher, on field trips to Dorset and Cornwall as a child. And I wasn't particularly interested in all the living organisms they scooped out of rock pools, but became intrigued by pebbles, rocks, and dead fossilized creatures that abounded. I went on to Oxford, and I was fortunate to have as my undergraduate supervisor Harold Redding, and I could have followed a path either hating or loving sedimentology. Of course, I grew to love sedimentology. And in tutorials, Harold would basically throw us in at the deep end, and we'd be given several books to read for a single tutorial. And I just loved that deep reading and flourished in tutorials, though my lecture attendance was far from exemplary. Instead, I went on a geological expedition to the rainforest in Borneo. Surprise, surprise, there weren't many rocks, but there were lots of helicopters, boats, leeches, and a night in jail, which provided entertainment and led to my excitement with travel. Science is a really collaborative enterprise, and you don't do it alone. And I've been very, very fortunate to work with many generous and lovely people. Philip Allen, who very sadly died earlier this year, was a truly inspiring PhD supervisor. And I've been fortunate to work with some brilliant scientists like Patience Cowie, John Underhill, Nancy Dowers, Alex Densmore, and Chris Paola, learning about tectonics and past and present landscapes. But perhaps my best adventure has been exploring the unknown close to home, the English Channel, with my absolutely wonderful geophysicist colleague, Jenny Collier, doing some completely unexpected research. It's surprising what you can do when you don't get funded. More recently, as you know, my field geological activities are rather virtual, but it's an immense privilege to be a small part of some large space missions exploring the geology of distant planets. And it's wonderful to be able to impart our field geology expertise to these new ventures. That's something that the younger me could never have imagined. So I'm grateful actually for another scientific community for having welcomed me, even if I can be a tad opinionated. I'd like to thank the Geological Society with the award of the Prestwich Medal, and thank my collaborators, students, friends, and family for being part of and enriching my explorations. Thank you.
Sanjeev, thank you very much. Good. Thank you for the story. The next three medals, Murchison, Lyell, and William Smith medals, are of equal status and regarded very highly by the Society. They're awarded on the basis of the breadth as well as the depth of contribution. Firstly, the William Smith Medal is awarded for contributions to applied or economic aspects of geoscience. It's named after the father of English geology, William Smith, maker of the first geological map of Britain and arguably the pioneer of applied geology. I'm delighted to present the 2021 award of the William Smith Medal to Dr. Philip Christie. Dr. Christie is an influential and exceptional geophysicist whose work has made many important scientific and technical contributions to the oil and gas industry and academia. After undergraduate studies in theoretical physics, he undertook PhD research supervised by Drummond Matthews at the University of Cambridge, focusing on sedimentary basin formation. The results of this research, published in Nature, the Journal of Geophysical Research, showed how basin subsidence by stretching could be recognized from seismic data and constrained by sediment decompaction and subsidence analysis. This process underpins much of the basin analysis and petroleum system modeling that is carried out today. After a postdoctoral research position at Cambridge, his focus turned to exploration seismology, where he has made many important scientific and technical contributions. In the late 1990s, he worked with BP on the Foinaven field, reservoir monitoring, using pioneering, at the time, 4D seismic techniques on a complex deep water field. More recently, he has been co-principal investigator on the Liverpool-Cambridge University ISIM project, Integrated Seismic Image and Modeling of Margins project. Dr. Christie has made an enormous contribution to both industrial and academic geoscience. He served as editor-in-chief of Petroleum Geoscience and has been president of the European Association of Geoscientists and Engineers. In 2018, he was presented with the EAG's Konrad Schlumberger Award for Geophysics for outstanding contributions to the scientific and technical advancement of the geosciences. Dr. Christie, I am delighted to award you the William Smith Medal. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, for those very kind words. When I received the email offering me the William Smith Medal, twin emotions of sheer delight and absolute amazement competed for dominance in my head. Eventually, after many pinch-me moments, the dopamine rush won through, all the more so since the medal named after the father of English geology had been awarded to a geophysicist. After my first degree, I joined Schlumberger as a wireline engineer in West Africa and received a grounding in formation evaluation and rock physics. I decided that earth science was to be my calling, and so I applied to Cambridge to do a PhD with Drum Matthews into North Sea epirogeny. I was logging a Texaco well in the middle of the Sahara Desert when I heard I'd been accepted by Cambridge. And the Texaco well site geologist, a Swiss alpinist, advised me that I had better learn some geology quickly. And how right he was. I spent my first several months as Drum's student cutting my teeth on Sir Peter Kent's papers on the North Sea Basin, armed with my trusty geological dictionary in one hand and a wire-wrapping gun in the other. And the rest, as they say, is history. If this citation names me as a serial volunteer, it's only because my own career has benefited enormously from the wonderful support, advice, and encouragement from so many others, too numerous to mention individually. Their time spent with me has motivated me to return the favour, but I quickly found that such interactions generated their own reward with the stimulation of fresh ideas, collaborations, and, most importantly, friendships. However, I simply must acknowledge the unending patience of my wife Judith, from helping me to wire-wrap my sea-bottom seismometers to bringing me late-night cups of coffee while editing papers for Petroleum Geoscience. Again, Mr. President, I thank you and the Geological Society for this utterly fantastic award. Thank you very much indeed.
Great, well, great story, Phil, and welcome to the Society as a geophysicist. We have many there, and clearly this is a reflection of that. The next medal is the Murchison Medal, given for contributions to hard rock studies. It was established under the will of Sir Roderick Impey Murchison, the Scottish geologist who first described the Silurian and Devonian successions in Britain, as well as other achievements. I'm delighted to present the 2021 award to Professor Graham Pearson. Professor Pearson is widely recognized as a leading authority in the study of the deep earth and planetary materials. His research is primarily focused on mantle petrology, kimberlites, xenoliths, and diamonds, and has resulted in the authorship of 268 papers, 11 book chapters and reviews, as well as numerous major scientific awards. After a PhD in Leeds University, he undertook postdoctoral research that led to a post as Professor of Geochemistry at Durham University, becoming head of department in 2010. He subsequently took up the prestigious post of Canada Excellence Research Chair at the University of Alberta, where he rapidly established state-of-the-art analytical facilities and a large research group. He's currently director of the Diamond Exploration and Research Training School at the University of Alberta, and a deeply perceptive geoscience. I'll start this again. This is just a great line. A deeply perceptive geoscience. He has the ability to address problems with broad scientific implications. In the 1990s, he pioneered the use of rhenium-osmium isotopes in earth science, using this technique to generate the first robust ages of formation of the Earth's lithospheric mantle, showing that the cratonic cores of the world's continents formed between 2.5 and 3.5 billion years ago. His discovery of inclusions of ringwoodite in diamond has been one of the most important discoveries in earth sciences in the last 50 years, with major implications for how we interpret the inner workings of our planet. An inspirational supervisor and mentor, he has enhanced the career pathways of more than 55 PhD students and 30 postdoctoral researchers, served on numerous international committees and editorial boards, including serving as an expert committee member on an international body established to counter the trade in conflict diamonds for the White House Office of Science and Technology. Professor Graham Pearson, I'm delighted to award you the Murchison Medal. Over to you, Graham.
Thanks, Mr. President. Well, it's a great honour to be nominated for any award from the original Geological Society, let alone receive one of their medals. And so I really must thank the generosity of my nominators for dedicating their time and enthusiasm for seeing some value in the work that me and my group do. I would have really loved to have been on site to receive the award, as I'm sure many others that are here today. I have really fond memories of visiting Burlington House as an undergraduate in the lovely library that you see behind us here, and then being allowed to examine some of the Peach and Horn maps prior to my undergraduate mapping thesis. I attended my first President's Day in 1986 as an undergraduate student, listening to talks from the medal recipients, and I didn't imagine for a moment that I'd be giving my own medal lecture. So the work this award is based on is, of course, the product of many people's input, not just mine, and it's important, as many have, to acknowledge all the input from the students and postdocs and colleagues that have gone into some of the results that I'll talk about later today. They really make possible what no one person can achieve on their own. I particularly want to thank the support of my lab managers and technical staff over the years, people that rarely get mentioned in these events, especially Jeff Knoll and Chris Otley at Durham, and latterly Sarah Woodland, Jan Lowe, and Chiranjeev Sarkar at Edmonton. Without them, there wouldn't be any data to talk about. Few of us can get anywhere without excellent mentors, and the few words available here just don't do justice to the mentors that I've had. I've been lucky enough to have been educated and influenced along the way by many people. Being from a coal mining town in West Yorkshire, I thought I wanted to be a mine geologist when I went to Imperial College. Well, actually, I wanted to play cricket for Yorkshire, but that didn't quite work out. But anyway, the plan to be a mine geologist soon changed, in large part due to inspiring teaching by Bob Thompson and other faculty at Imperial at the time. Another stroke of luck was being turned down for a PhD at Oxford, which actually then prodded me to accept a PhD in Leeds for what turned out to be an amazing project with two great supervisors, Peter Nixon and Gareth Davis, that I learned so much from, and also other faculty at Leeds, especially Marge Wilson and Bob Cliff. It was Peter's infectious enthusiasm that drew me into mantle pearlites, kimberlites, and diamonds. And I've never looked back from that, although I've since developed a few arcane other interests, such as looking at the efficacy of metallo drugs using other analytical techniques that we use for analyzing rocks. And I wouldn't have got a permanent job without being lucky enough to be mentored by giants in the field like Joe Boyd, Rick Carlson, Steve Shari at Carnegie, and then latterly Chris Hawksworth and Nick Rogers at the Open University. Colleagues at the University of Alberta have been a massive stimulus, Thomas Stackel especially, and Jeff Harris for an unceasing supply of diamonds. And lastly, the encouragement from my parents and constant support from my wife over the last 30 years, Samantha. I wouldn't have got very far, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it nearly so much. Thanks again for the honour.
Great, thank you, Graham. Great story. What was the village or town in West Yorkshire?
Pontefract.
Very good. Okay, moving on to the Lyell Medal. Established under the will and codicil of Sir Charles Lyell, 1797 to 1875, and the author of Principles of Geology, the Lyell Medal is normally given for contributions to soft rock studies. I'm delighted to present the 2021 Lyell Medal to Professor Nicholas White. Prof. White has made many fundamental and far-reaching contributions to our understanding of deep Earth mantle geodynamics and its impact on long wavelength uplift or subsidence of the Earth's surface, the much discussed dynamic topography. With his research group at the Bullard Laboratories in Cambridge, Prof. White has developed stratigraphic and geophysical techniques which are used to measure and globally map mantle dynamic topography, providing evidence for previously untested and uncalibrated predictions from mantle convection. The results of this work have been fundamental and far-reaching. Following undergraduate studies at the Trinity College, Dublin, he took a PhD at Cambridge, where he has spent the majority of his research life, being appointed Professor of Cimatogeny in 2012. Cimatogeny is not a commonly used word in professorial chairs, so I would for those of you who may not know exactly what it means, it is dealing with the warping of the crust at the very largest of scales. The breadth of his research and contribution to science over this period is substantial, illuminating our understanding of dynamic topography from both deep mantle flow and mantle plumes, and addressing our understanding of the structure and formation of cratonic basins, river slope evolution, and its relationship to river mouth sedimentary flux. The recovery of extensional strain rates from subsidence data for rift basins and rifted margins, and the evolution of the Iceland plume. He has a prolific and diverse publication record, and alongside his scientific contributions, he has trained and inspired generations of geology and geophysics undergraduates. A supporter and PhD students, a supporter of the Geological Society, he is a former recipient of the Society's President Award in 1992 and the Bigsby Medal in 2001. Professor Nicky White, I'm delighted to award you the Lyell Medal. Nicky, over to you.
Cimatogeny also means somebody who makes waves. Mr. President, I was chopping logs in the middle of Ireland when I got this marvellous and unexpected news. I just want to say quickly that I feel I've been blessed in 6 ways. First of all, I had the enormous benefit of being a middle child of millions of children, well, not millions of children, 5 children, with a significant gap on either side of me, which meant I was entirely left to my own devices, which is extremely important. So I spent my time pottering around and no one really was bothered with what I would end up doing. I spent a lot of time collecting rhynchonellids, which are those small, beautiful, very ornate brachiopods, which are very obsessive. The second way in which I was blessed was doing a very general natural sciences degree in Dublin, where you have to do loads of maths, pure and applied, physics, geography and geology, with a bucket load of fieldwork thrown in, which I felt was really the ideal way of propelling me forward. I had no idea what I wanted to do next. The third blessing, at that time when I graduated, it was very difficult to get PhD funding to do something in geology abroad if you were in Ireland. But a miracle happened in the year I graduated. A very enlightened British Prime Minister set up Anglo-Irish PhD scholarships. They were actually master's scholarships to start with. And I was fortunate enough to be awarded one of these master's scholarships. And I decided, well, actually, I don't really want to do a master's. I want to do a PhD. And they said, fine, we'll fund you to do a PhD. That enlightened Prime Minister was Mrs. Thatcher, who doesn't always get credit for the good things she did. The fourth way in which I was blessed, have been blessed, is spending 35 years effectively playing ping pong with Cambridge physicists and mathematicians. What I mean by that is that in science, if you want to get better, I feel very strongly that it's like ping pong. You should always play with people who are much better than yourself. And I've gained enormously in a sort of osmotic way of just turning up at coffee and tea and listening to lots of clever applied mathematicians and physicists, which has had a huge influence on me. Too many people to list. The fifth way I've been blessed is, as Mike Daly has mentioned, I've had a lot of PhD students. I'm on my 75th PhD student, and it's been enormously important for me to work with such a group of lovely, clever people, and I hope I have many more PhD students in the future. And finally, but not least, the sixth way I've been blessed is in knowing Dr. Brian Lovell well. He's been an enormous supporter of everything I do. Sometimes I don't know quite why he supports me so much, but I'd like to just acknowledge his friendship today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Nikki. That's great and very entertaining. To the Wollaston Medal. The Wollaston Medal, established by William Hyde Wollaston, is the highest award of the Geological Society. It's given to geoscientists who have had a significant influence by means of a substantial body of excellent research in either or both pure and applied aspects of our science. I am sincerely delighted today to present the Wollaston Medal of 2021 to Professor David Pollard. Professor Pollard is the preeminent and most highly cited structural geologist of his generation. His fundamental contributions over 40 years have shaped our understanding of geological rock mechanics as applied to a host of major questions, such as how sheet intrusions form, how faults propagate, the genesis of rock joints, and their distribution of fluid flow in fracture networks. Currently Emeritus Professor in the Department of Geological Sciences at Stanford University, he began his career at Pomona College before taking a PhD at Stanford in 1969, where he has spent the majority of his illustrious career. In his research, he has made a point of advancing the rigorous quantitative application of mechanical principles with careful field observations. The breadth and depth of his contributions represent an outstanding body of scholarly work in the most challenging areas of structural geology, and his influence truly pervades the discipline. An outstanding mentor to his students, he's trained 35 PhD students, many of whom have become leaders in their fields. With Attila Aydan, he founded the influential joint industry academia consortium, the Rock Fracture Project, a training ground for many researchers who have subsequently gone on to both academia and industry. A leader in the structural geology community, he chaired the preparation of the 2003 National Science Foundation Tectonics Program White Paper, New Departures in Structural Geology and Tectonics. In 2016, he was presented with a Career Contribution Award by the Structure and Tectonics Division of the Geological Society of America. The Wollaston Medal is presented in recognition of his seminal contributions to geoscience and the integration of field, laboratory, and computer modeling approaches to the major problems of geology. Professor David Pollard, I'm honored to award you the Wollaston Medal.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that very generous citation. And thanks also to those fellows who offered the nomination, and to the council whose vote decided the outcome, and of course to the members of the society who keep this tradition going. I'm deeply honored to have been chosen the 2021 recipient of the Wollaston Medal. It is something of a tradition for recipients to call out a few names well known to all from the list of former medalists. Instead, I would like to call out the names of two medalists, perhaps less well known today, after whom I patterned my career. William Hopkins, the medalist in 1850, and Cambridge senior Wrangler maker, pioneered investigations in what he called dynamical or physical geology, in which geometric laws characterized the geologic structures and mathematics helped to elevate the science from a level of indeterminate generalities to investigations founded on physical principles and focused on measurable properties of matter. Quantification, rather than mere verbal description, was the hallmark of Hopkins' physical geology. I'd also like to call out Grove Carl Gilbert, the medalist in 1900, a consummate field geologist, Gilbert asked his horse, Billy, to carry the Manual of Applied Mechanics by Scottish engineer William Rankin on his expeditions to the Henry Mountains in southern Utah in 1875. There, Gilbert transformed observations of magmatic intrusions of different sizes into a temporal progression of development, and then used the mechanics from Rankin's manual to understand the physics of the transition from sill to laccolith. This Career Achievement Award, in my opinion, is largely due to one scientific publication. So I would be remiss to not acknowledge the students with whom I have been fortunate to share the author line. Each of them deserves a piece of the palladium making up the Wollaston Medal. As a tribute to them and with a clear recognition of their contributions, I accept this medal. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
David, thank you. Thank you for the perspective way back, and thank you for those very inclusive words at the end. So that brings us to the end of the hard work here of getting these through this very large but very impressive and tremendously inspiring list of awards. I'll now hand over back to Richard, who will close us down here and then tell us what we're going to do next. Richard.
Thank you, Mike. The award ceremony is something of a marathon, isn't it? But it's also, for me, the highlight of the Society's year. It's an opportunity to celebrate and recognise outstanding individuals and their outstanding contributions to the earth sciences and to our community. It's a truly inspiring occasion, as you say, and I offer my warmest congratulations to every single one of the recipients today. Don't go away, because at 1700 at 5 o'clock, there will follow talks by 3 of our senior medalists, Graham Pearson, Nikki White, and David Pollard. And I hope you'll be able to join us in a few minutes' time after a cup of tea or whatever you need to refresh yourself for what promises to be an entertaining and fascinating early evening.